Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to the I Love You So Much YouTube channel. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and let's get started with the episode.
Hi guys.
Hi, Kenzie.
Okay,
Hi,
I know I said don't talk over each other, but I didn't mean like don't talk.
Nobody
Okay.
talks. It's just Kenzie.
You go first.
Kenzie's the whole podcast.
Everyone like raises their hand and I call on you. I'm like, Presley, your turn.
Thanks, Miss Piper.
Okay, so let's do a little round table. Quick intro, where you went to college and then like probably where we met. Not to make it about me, but to give context. But like to make it about me, you know?
Oh my gosh. My name is Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
We met technically when we were like 16, but it was just at a birthday dinner. We didn't really talk. And then I moved to Dallas and we started hanging out like November, so like 6 months ago.
Yeah, but well, that was more than 6 months ago. But
because we just had our half-year anniversary.
yeah, and we forgot to celebrate. But we went from like 0 to 100, and we went from not spending any time together to spending every waking second together and talking all the time. So
Yeah, if I haven't heard from you by like 5 p.m., I'm like, she's really busy
yeah,
today.
you like try. She must be busy. Yeah, and we had like mutual friends growing up.
Yeah, and I went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Hated it, but I mean, I loved it.
Lauren.
I know.
Well, what was
Sorry.
your first school?
Oh, TCU.
Oh, we have to say if we transferred?
Okay.
Yeah,
How
how many times exactly is there a limit?
We gotta do the whole journey.
Tess, you know what's so crazy? I was thinking about how like if you didn't know that you went to tech, you would think you went to TCU. And when I was posting photos of us in like 6th grade the other day for your birthday, you're wearing a fucking TCU t-shirt even
yeah.
then. So yeah,
I
nothing's
have
changed.
more TCU stuff than I have tech stuff,
Wow. Okay, intro.
but tech is more my personality.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I'm Tess. I met Kenzie in 4th grade. I don't know like what per se, but you just lived in my neighborhood growing up, so it was inevitable. And then
I think that was it. Tess is
Yeah.
the crazy one. If you ever see the wild TikToks, it's Tess. Yeah, she really honestly keeps
got some
me
great
young.
stories.
Oh yeah, most of
get
which we
sued one day.
can't. Like we literally can't tell them on the podcast because there's gonna be like a cease and assist. So honestly, go to TikTok for that. All right,
She keeps
Presley,
us young.
you're up.
Yay. Okay, I'm Presley. I went to SMU here in Dallas. I originally went to Arkansas because my high school grades weren't good enough to get into SMU the first round. But it's okay, we made it. And I've known Kenzie since 2nd grade.
No, 4th because I moved in
Oh.
4th. You moved in 2nd.
Just kidding. I made
Yeah.
that up. So I've known
You're wrong.
Kenzie since
yeah. So
4th
yeah,
grade.
4th grade.
We're really good friends, I promise.
Yeah, we have matching tattoos. We'll get to that shortly.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
Taryn, are you ready?
Last but not least, I'm Taryn. I met Kenzie in 8th grade, 7th grade.
Yeah.
Volleyball, yes. I went to the University of Oklahoma and I loved it, unlike Lauren.
It was not the school, to be clear.
It's so crazy. You guys had totally opposite.
I
college
saw her on the
experiences.
party bus like senior year, and I was like, I don't think she knows me, but like I know her.
No, Lauren came up to me and was like, at your live show, and was like, hey, like, by the way, like, I remember that party bus. I'm like, no, I remember it as well.
Well, what's funny is that you guys have both, like, when I started hanging out with you, you guys both brought that story up to me separately and both felt the exact
I just
same
felt
way.
so uncomfortable about it, and I felt like I needed to come clean.
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
To like clear things up, guys, everyone listening, we're all from the same hometown, but we went to different schools. So I went to school with everyone but Lauren at one point, and Taryn and I ended up going to like separate schools. So that's how they wouldn't have. So anyways, we just went to New York last weekend. It was incredible. Actually, what was everyone's favorite part of the trip? I have mine.
When Taryn found a hair in her bagel.
Oh, I was already nauseous and that happened. I had to just walk away.
hungover,
I had to
like,
walk
really.
away. I was like,
Tess does this thing where she gets violently hungover and then she doesn't shut up because that's the only way she's gonna feel better. So she will literally talk for like 7 hours straight while everyone is just dying. And then all of a sudden she just flips a switch and she's totally fine. And everyone else is dying and exhausted because she's been on one all day. It's unbelievable. I've never seen someone push through like you.
Yeah, you were
It's-
literally
it's,
crying
uh,
all morning.
Yeah.
and
Crying and
not on
talking.
purpose. It was just my body's reaction.
I mean,
to my hangover.
flip a switch is extreme. 3
It was
throw
literally
up,
like,
couple meals, you know.
It's like migraine, throw up, feel better, dance party, back to a migraine, throwing up a little bit more, and then it's just.
My favorite part was the matching tattoos, but specifically when we get to the matching, we'll tell that story in a second, was Presley showing everyone her other tattoo.
Yes. I don't know what's worse about my tattoo, the fact that it's literally on my body forever.
The one that actually stays on your body. is
Yeah.
that one.
Or Presley.
Or that I paid $130 for this finger tattoo.
Oh.
That is now
At least you still
half.
have it.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
You were the lone survivor.
I was, yeah.
So-
I think it's because he liked me the best.
Yeah, he definitely
Put a
did, by
little
the
more
way.
ink in there.
You're also the only one who used Aquaphor, to be fair. But we got matching tattoos when we were in New York. Everyone besides Taryn, because Taryn doesn't have tattoos, not because she doesn't like us.
I swear.
Yeah, she promises. But we went in and got tattoos. And normally, okay, like first off, we got finger tattoos. So that's annoying. And we got small tattoos. So like to a random tattoo artist,
He
that-
hated us.
he hates us.
Very
That's the
annoying.
worst thing ever. And I will say, I know that most shops have a minimum. When I was in LA and I got my first finger tattoo, the minimum was also 100. The only reason I knew this was embarrassing is because I paid 100 plus tip for my star tattoo on my finger, and everyone flamed us. So then we went back to New York. We decided to get matching tattoos, red hearts on our fingers, and then we got those a little over a week ago, and we'll post photos of updates, guys.
They've
Not
all
good.
wiped off.
It's been pretty bad.
They were actually semi-permanent. He just didn't tell us.
Yeah, no, literally.
He goes,
They
y'all
were
are gonna
Hannah.
want this later.
Guys, I want to get mine touched up. So honestly,
I do too.
you know what? It's honestly kind of a blessing in disguise because I kind of wish I got it on the other side of my finger. And the way this is going, it's looking like I'm gonna get that chance.
Yeah, next week it's gonna be completely gone.
How many times can you get a second chance at a tattoo?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's so true. We're so lucky.
Yeah,
We're so lucky.
Honestly, it was a sign from God.
I have another favorite part actually was every story that Tess just decided to remember.
Yeah, where did those come from?
Well,
Curveball
the
after
thing is,
curveball.
when it happens, I'm like, okay, this is just like part of relationships. This is just what happens with boys. Like, and I just keep them to myself because it's like, no one's gonna want to hear about this.
Can we tell
and
the
then,
toenail story or no?
It's already on TikTok.
and then I start like letting little stories slip, and then I see their reactions. I'm like,
They were
that's not
Little
normal.
stories. Are you kidding? Tess, you get yourself in the wildest situations I have ever heard of in my life. And it's not just like a one-time thing, not a two-time. We're like
several.
several. Like,
yeah.
I'm not convinced you've ever been in a normal relationship.
Never.
I don't think
I
you-
thought about that after this past one, and I was like, every single guy, there's just been something. And I was like, it was a tech thing. Like, it was just Lubbock. The environment is just bad. And then I moved to Dallas, and I'm like,
How disappointing.
it followed you.
there's an underlying factor here.
What's that quote? Like, wherever you go, there you are. The point is that, like, you're the issue.
It's not you, babe. It's
Common
not
There's
denominator.
underlying things there. Got to work it out. But for time being, it's fun.
Tess,
It's
I'm
fun.
gonna be honest with the most recent things. You're not at fault to me. So
Thank you.
You need to
You're
write
welcome.
a book.
Thank you, guys.
yeah, you really
You
should
would
write a
be
book.
a #1 bestseller.
Honestly, Tess,
Tess's
we should do
tales.
an episode just you, and we can we can tell the audience and someone else and do a voice changer, and you can just go through the stories because it's better than like call her daddy, like not even in like a raunchy way, like not that, just like the craziest thing
Mind-blowing.
you've ever heard in your entire life,
Genuinely
Over
just
and over.
unheard of.
and over again.
It's literally like, I'm 25. Like, how crazy is this gonna get? And then another man walks in my life, and I'm like, here it goes.
Actually, T, what was your favorite thing of the New York trip? Obviously,
Okay,
besides
not
my
to
live
be-
show,
I was
guys.
gonna say not to be a kiss
Yeah.
up. I think the live show
Oh,
was
really?
so fun.
Yeah,
yes.
no,
Taryn,
no, that
you're my
was really
favorite
fun.
now.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think to end it, we had a 4-course
Oh.
meal afterwards.
Phenomenal
Oh my
meal.
God.
And-
Thanks to Margot.
No,
Yeah,
that-
thank you, Marco.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you,
amazing.
Margot. Press and I in our Uber home were like, why are we still hungry? We get a hot dog at midnight after a 4-course meal.
And
then we saw a
pasta.
rat. And then we saw a rat.
Oh, mhm.
But I think the live show really was my favorite part. It was so fun. The wine too was great.
Yeah.
Being served during the show. It was just
Oh,
a
yeah,
really
that
cool
was good.
experience, I think, overall.
I thought you were talking about the wine at the restaurant after, because he was like, we have red or white. And I was like, okay, what kind of red? And he was like, it's red. And I was like, no
Right.
shit.
And then
Lauren, that's
Also-
the difference between me and you. I would never ask that because I have no idea.
Tess,
I know. I would be like,
Sure.
Tess taking the salad tongs,
What?
eating
what are you talking
the
about?
Parmesan cheese.
Oh, yeah.
How did I miss that one?
It's good that you put us at the end.
That was also a personal. So
By
yeah,
ourselves.
I had a lot, but it was all that night.
Meanwhile, I'm like, guys, I'm so excited for you to meet all of my friends in New York. Like, oh my god.
She's like, y'all stay.
Oh, thanks.
She's like, y'all stay on that end. My friends will stay on this end.
I sat in the middle to just make
Thank
sure.
goodness.
It was so fun. Actually, the live show was my favorite part.
Yeah, the live show was awesome.
We're going to talk a lot about college and then a lot about post-grad life. We'll start with college, just like chronological order. And I think it's important. I've actually been wanting us to talk about this for a while because not that you guys didn't. I'm just speaking for myself and Lauren. It is okay if you hated college. Okay, I will say, I think I have no one to blame besides myself. I think it was the choice of where I went, even though I liked it at the time, parts of it. But like, and I wouldn't even say, I don't know, I just didn't have the best college experience ever. And I actually get so many messages from girls being like, I feel like it sucks. Everyone talks about college. It's the greatest thing. They have like all these friends from it. Which is an incredible experience. And that, for the most part, was not my experience.
Oh, 100%.
Do you want to speak on your college
Well,
experience?
like freshman year, I was just in a horrible relationship. And so
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I hate this school. So I moved.
Mhm.
And then once I got to OU, I was like, oh no, it's 100% me. Like I don't know like who I turned into, but I did not recognize myself. I did not like talking to people. Anytime I went to a
Which
bar,
is the opposite
I would,
of her.
yeah, no, I was like, if somebody comes up and talks to me, like I genuinely don't know what to say to them.
Which is so weird because you were like a social butterfly.
Yeah, I really could not. Like I did not know who I was. So it was just like mental breakdown after mental breakdown. Like I should be having the time of my life, and I actually don't know who I am right now.
Do you think it was worse because of the added pressure to feel like you had to have the time of your life? Yeah.
Because everybody around me is having so much fun. I mean, Taryn, you're right.
She's watching Taryn in the distance, like
Yeah, literally.
Like a SpongeBob meme where he's
Yeah, she's taking off on the party bus. And I'm
Okay,
just,
but also in my defense, it was not rainbows and butterflies at first, but I had an
yeah.
advantage because I went with my best friend from high school. So I automatically had a friend, like a friend to like rely on. And then, joining a sorority and all that obviously helped. But like, no, I loved school.
Yeah.
I did.
I did live with Allie. Without Allie, I don't know. I probably would have dropped out.
Yeah, but I think also it was helpful that you went freshman year and then you rushed like
I
that.
never had like
Yeah.
I think that definitely is a factor too. Like I was very like I was like didn't start off like loving it, but then like after semester 1 I was like, okay, I'm good. But the first semester sucked. But I feel like that's everyone.
What's your advice to a freshman who's not loving school?
I think you should stick it out at least the first semester. My mom told me the first year before like making a decision. But just like joining and doing as many things as you can to like meet as many people. Because like for me, I relied on Ashlyn obviously a lot because the two of us were so close. But then we met a girl down the hall that was in our sorority that we started, you just slowly start meeting people through that. But I think just stick it out the first semester, a year. And if you're still not happy, then obviously make the jump. But like you got to wait, I think, a semester.
And to be fair, I don't remember anyone loving freshman year. Like,
No.
That was advice that
I
was
don't
given
either.
to
my
me.
worst.
Yeah.
When I started school, I remember they had like a panel, and this girl was like, I hated freshman year. The next girl came in, she's like, I hated freshman year.
Yeah.
But like time and time again,
Danielle
they were
hated
like,
it.
stay through the second year. And then
Yeah.
after year 2 is kind of when things start picking up, which I was like, fuck that. Like, I don't want to wait that long.
It's just so new. Like for me, I'm a homebody, so I was like, I don't like being away from my parents or the things that I know. But then like then that becomes like your home, so you get used to it and then you adjust. But
That was the thing about TCU too. Because I was like, oh, I hated today. It was a Wednesday. I would go home.
Oh yeah, you're like too close.
yeah, I hated it. Yeah.
yeah, when
I would have gone to Billy Bob's. That's what I
By
would
yourself?
when I first
Yes.
just alone on that bowl, like. But I remember when I chose Lubbock, I was like, it's 5 hours away. I'm never gonna see my parents. Like, McKinney sucks. Like, I never want to go home.
You
and then
lived
I'm
with a girl from McKinney.
Yeah, yeah, that was an issue within itself. But I just remember like 5 hours sounded perfect, and then like year 2, I'm like,
That's how I
be
was
real nice to go back
too.
home this weekend.
Yeah.
I literally flew home from Arkansas my freshman year every single weekend.
That's honestly, that's not
You
surprising.
flew home? How long is the drive?
Yes.
of course you flew. Were
like
you
5
kidding?
hours.
She was
Okay,
flying
yeah,
first
no.
class.
The planes on a 5-hour flight are basically a pizza.
So it was like a 45-minute hour flight. So I was
You're
like,
like,
oh, this is
"Oh."
Yeah,
awesome.
they don't
Met
even
my
give you
mom and dad
drinks.
at the airport with Starbucks because I hated Arkansas so much. And it's okay because Arkansas, it's really interesting. In McKinney, a lot of people end up going to the same schools. So we call them the 13th grade. because a lot of people from our high school go to the same schools, which are like big football schools. So I went to Arkansas with a bunch of like my best friends from high school, and I thought I was gonna love it because I was like, oh my God, all my closest friends are here. Like I am already like in a circle. And no, it wasn't the case at all. Like I was so miserable. I felt like I was just like in like the same circle and I wasn't like expanding myself. So it was like kind of isolating and not like allowing myself to meet other people. And so I always wanted to go to SMU, and I was like, well, I don't really have the grades. So I worked my ass off at Arkansas, which is crazy because if anyone knows me from high school, I did not
see you.
I was a guest appearance once.
Yeah.
once
Right
every
when you got
month
the
in
truancy
classroom.
letter.
Presley and I had horrible attendance all growing up. I was right there with horrible. And keep in mind, Karen and I are complete opposites in school. I was a good student and I was involved, but Taryn actually showed up. That's the difference
Every
between me
day.
and her. Every single day.
And we both had A's, but I was there every day. You were never there.
And Taryn's like there, best friends with all the teachers. No, like, and I'm there. I'm like I was class president to like get away with murder, and I didn't go. Like we were so opposite. And Taryn would be like, "How are you doing that? Like, are your parents okay with that?" And I'm like, I mean, whatever. Like whatever. They don't know. You know? Yeah, they're totally cool with it.
Yeah, I remember I didn't see you for years in college. I think I saw you like your senior year of college, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's new? And she's like, I'm studying for, what was it, biology?
Yeah, I majored in biology.
Blew my mind. My jaw dropped. I was like, you almost got failed out of high school for not even showing up, and now you're.
We love an underdog story, baby.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
Presley and I switched roles.
Yeah, we did. Lauren was like the A student,
High school
like
was such a
student
kiss
council. You were still really funny though, so it's okay.
Oh, thanks so much.
You think it was your humor.
No, the
Just a
week
little in
before
college.
graduating college, when we were getting our caps and gowns or whatever,
Yeah.
and he was handing them to me, he's like, do you need the like honor roll, whatever? And I was like, dude, I don't even know if I'm gonna get to wear this. Like, I don't know when I'm graduating. I didn't. I mean, I did. But like,
Kenzie, I don't even think you know this story. Senior year, graduation's like 2 weeks from now. I'm like kind of, getting crazy at the end of high school.
Yeah.
I'm like leaving pals early, sneaking out of school. Rudy
Oh no.
Oh.
I love that
chases
movie.
me out of school, and I get
Did you
called to
sob?
the principal's office sobbing.
Yeah.
Mr. Bennett's like, you may not graduate. Like, blah.
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
God.
I am full sobbing. I'm like, my mom's gonna kill me
because you were leaving pals early.
because I was like ditching class. Yeah, he like
Yeah.
caught me leaving the
Oh, like,
campus
on the golf cart.
On the golf cart.
That surprises me. Rudy and I were pals.
Oh, he hated me.
He was
and
not
that
like-
was my first offense.
He was not that amusing guy. And also, I graduated a year early and moved out to LA early and started college early. So I was never like Taryn was goody two shoes throughout high school before, and we were at the parties and Taryn still wasn't there. Like I had moved by the time she was here. So the fact that she even cut class once probably and got caught.
Never did it again.
Yeah.
My first,
Yeah,
my first offense with Rudy, and I'm in jail basically.
Tess, how did you like your college experience?
I had a boyfriend freshman year, and it was just very like boring, and I got jealous of like everyone having like the time of their lives. So when that was over, I definitely
You flipped the switch.
yeah went the complete 180, and from then on it was like the time of my life. Met great people, had great experiences. Like I feel people take college very seriously sometimes, and they, like you said, like they think you have to have like the time of your life, meet the best people ever, and like they force it too much. But like you gotta let whatever happen sometimes. And that's what it was, because like freshmen set the bar so low, so I was like, it's only up from here.
That's also true.
And so I was like in my saying yes to everything mode, where it was like, you want to do this on a Monday night, I'm there. You want to do that at 3 a.m., I'm there. So
You still do that.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that's a college thing for you. That's
Things
just like
have-
your philosophy.
things have not slowed down.
Yeah, at all.
You
I
just have a
wish-
job now.
But yeah, I mean, I
Not
do
this
have
week.
work tests and then out of work tests.
You're a really put together shit show.
Yeah, that's actually
Thank you.
That's so
a very
true.
nice way of putting it. But yeah, I think it's just like you have to say yes to everything. Like you can't be scared to do anything.
That is good advice for the most
Yeah.
part.
Are we anti going into college with boyfriends?
Yep.
I was
Yes.
literally,
1000%.
Yep.
I was literally just about to say, I wish I was in Tessa's position because all throughout college I had a boyfriend. So I never had that phase in college where that's like, it's okay to say yes and let's go do this. Let's go do this. Like, let's hang out with your friends more. I never did that. And I look back at that and I'm like, damn.
I think
You
it
guys
depends
are,
on the
like-
relationship.
That's
100%.
also
Yeah.
true.
Like Allie and Tyler.
That's
Goals.
true.
But they
Yeah.
are literally like
True.
1 in a million.
One in a
They
million.
are
an
Yeah.
exception.
Yeah.
But like if you would have told 18-year-old me to break up with my
Oh.
boyfriend at the time,
I
I
was
would have
no
slapped you
way.
across the face.
Same.
But it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's like, oh, well, it worked for them, but they're the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
and you
Exactly.
have to always treat yourself as you're the rule, not that you're not special,
Yeah.
but just like, just
Let's
treat
be
yourself
real.
as
And
the
Like,
rule.
you're not
every
special.
relationship
Yeah,
is
nobody's
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Like-
think once you break up, like actually breaking up, you know.
And it's hard too. If you guys
Once you pick that special
it takes
ick.
a while. Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it takes a few tries.
yeah.
Well, I'm
it takes a
like-
few rounds around the block.
I think most high school couples are like, I know you shouldn't go into college with a boyfriend because that's what your parents are telling you, like, you know, whatever. So you break up.
Yeah.
That's my situation. And I had a really great relationship in high school. But then it's like, okay, we ended for a reason. Why am I dragging this out and like making this, you know, more than it really is? And it's like you're spending the next 4 years worrying about the last 4 years. So it's like
1,000%.
you got to
Yeah.
be done like when you're done, you know?
You need a clean break.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It is.
8-year situationship.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, that was tough. Okay, what do you
It's like,
think?
yeah, it is.
Damn right.
I'm like, all of you guys are like agreeing with this a little bit too much, you know?
We're like high-fiving each other under the table.
Okay, what do you think was the hardest part graduating, like transitioning into being an adult post grad? Let's take pandemic out of the equation. Just do like typical post grad. Keep in mind, guys, we graduated 2020, so like we graduated in the pandemic. Just like typical post grad life, what has been the most difficult part?
Personally, I think like having work not take over your whole life and it be like your entire personality and everything you worry about. Like my biggest struggle when I first started was like when 5 o'clock hits, you need to stop worrying about work. You can't let
Yeah.
work take over every single night, every evening, every weekend. Cause it's like, personally, we're all single. So it's like,
Woo.
what?
I said woo.
Again, Presley's a little too
Support.
excited.
Yeah, so it's like we're still fun. We want to do stuff. Like we have lives outside of work. So I think like finding a work-life balance was my biggest struggle. Personally, it's like I still like to have fun with my friends, but also like still try to be a professional bitch sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
My biggest struggle is I am in a completely different career path now than I was when I was in college. So I graduated with my major in biology, wanted to do pre-med or like pre-PA school. I ended up working in the hospital for the past like year and a half. And I was like, this is not for me. Like I could not imagine if I applied to school and I was in school right now. And I ended up hating it because I didn't have that working experience. And I was like, I just wasted all that money. And now, like, what else am I supposed to do? Because I just got like my master's or whatever. And I'm like, I'm literally stuck in this career path. So I'm so thankful that like I actually worked in the career that like I was considering after graduating. And now I know, you know,
Yeah.
which it was
Yeah.
so scary at the time because I was in such a panic because I was like, literally, what am I supposed to do? Like I spent all this money in my undergrad doing like science and like I've never experienced or like tried anything else. But now I'm just so much happier. Like I get to hang out with you guys like so much more. And like I'm just like in such a better headspace where I'm like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but I'm happy. So
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I want to stop there because I wanted to talk about this.
Mhm.
First off, I'm so happy that you actually did that because that's so
scary.
scary.
It was
I'm so proud
yeah.
of you.
I
Can
know,
you
I'm so
imagine
proud
like
of you.
having that conversation with your parents
No.
too? Like thank
That's
God.
what I want to talk about. Like, how did you make the jump to
Yeah.
take? Because we had been talking about it and like coming up with plans and like being like, oh, you should do
Mhm.
this. But how did you actually like make that jump?
Yeah. So luckily my parents are crazy supportive. Like I am so thankful for my parents because if I did not have supportive parents, then I would probably still be miserable and working in that hospital position. But my parents, I would always go home like after my 12-hour shifts and I was miserable, like literally sobbing, like having panic attacks. I was like, I cannot go back to work. I worked in the trauma ICU, which was like my like ending point, which I'm so thankful for everyone who works there because they're amazing. Kudos to them. So my parents like actually saw me go through that process of like being so miserable to the point where like they were like, you know what, you need to do what makes you happy. And yeah, so I'm just so thankful for that. And I was so scared because I was like, well, if I quit my job right now, I'm not gonna have an income, and I'm living in Dallas right now and I pay for rent my own. So I'm like, well, I can either quit my job and be out of a job and just like hope for the best, or I can keep working until I get a new job, like in the works. And that's what I ended up doing. So I told my parents, I got a new job. I'm going to put my 2 weeks in. And they were like, honestly, that was the best thing you could have done. And like, we're proud of you. So
Go press.
Go press.
thanks. It was
We like
scary,
seeing
but it
you
was
now.
worth it. Yeah.
I think for me, honestly, was like transitioning from being so dependent on my parents, not necessarily like financially, but I think just like emotionally, honestly. Like I mentioned, was super close to my family growing up. I picked OU because it was close enough to home to where I could come home on the weekend and it was like an easy drive. And then when I graduated, I lived at home for my first year. So I think for me, the hardest part was like after that first year was moving to Dallas, being on my own, and like not calling my mom the first thing, first time something like kind of goes wrong, immediately like reaching out to someone, like figuring out how to be on my own financially and like emotionally, I guess, kind of, honestly.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
That was really hard. I had a meltdown last week because I hit a concrete wall with my car.
I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I
Well,
still call my mom crying
well,
about
no,
a lot of
no,
No,
things,
guys, you
but-
should see the car.
I wish
though.
you could pop up a picture of the
I'll put it on-
speckled.
I'll put it on the
big-
Instagram.
You can't even see what I
There
did.
was nothing.
But like I hit
wrong.
it so hard. It's by the grace of God that like nothing happened to my car because
Aw.
everybody in the parking garage looked at me
Right.
and I just
Yeah.
drove away.
I
I
actually
didn't even
did
get
that
out.
too. I did that too.
Yeah.
I think for me, actually, I know for me, so my post-grad experience is different because I was working earlier and I went to a different college and I had already lived on my own, and like I moved to LA away. Like that part wasn't the difficult part. What was hard for me in ways actually similar to Presley, like when I graduated, I had a very, not in the way that I was going to do that career path, but just like having an idea of what your life is going to look like and what you're going to do. And then I got to, I think a lot of things in my life changed within probably around like 6 months, and a lot of horrible things were happening to people around me. And it was it was literally the worst 6 months probably ever of my entire life. And I finally was like, okay, I don't even like what I'm doing. I don't like I don't like who I'm surrounding myself with. This wasn't you guys, this was before. I was like, I don't like where I even see my life going. But for some reason, even though I didn't want to do that, it was so difficult for me to let go of this picture of something that I'd been working for so long. And I have a career that's like unbelievably flexible, and I'm the boss and I can do whatever I want. And for whatever reason, changing my mind on what I wanted was so difficult for me. And it's crazy that it was difficult for me because like I can just change my mind and do that. Like I didn't have to quit a job and do things that are like harder, but just being okay with my life looking a lot different than I thought it was going to look. And also, by the way, like 1,000 times better. Like I had this weird idea that like whatever I wanted at 17 or 20 is what I still needed to want at 24, 25, 23. And thank God that's not the case. 'Cause I would be
Can
the
you
most,
imagine?
I would be the most miserable person ever.
Oh my god.
I feel like it's like, Kenzie, you're very like structured though, you know
Yes.
what I mean? And I was just talking about this with some girls from work the other day. Like it's really hard navigating your early 20s because your whole life you know exactly what your next step is. Like you go to elementary school and then you're in middle school and then you go to high school and then you know you're going to college, and it's like when you graduate college is the first time in your life when you really don't know like what's next. And I think that's like really scary to figure out.
And I think up until that point, like speaking for myself specifically, but I feel like everyone can relate to this. Like I will say like myself a little bit more extreme. I was so go for years. And then on top of graduating in a pandemic, but also being like, oh, I'm no longer a student. And I had hired out. So I did have a little bit less of responsibility. And I was at a place because I had started my career at 16 where I was like I was more like established, to where it was like, well, the next step would be like married and kids. And it was like
Right.
so go. And then I was like, what the fuck? Like I'm only 23. Not that this
so
is what I
close to
wanted, but it felt like I needed to like keep doing things to, not that that was what I needed, but it felt like the next
next
step in my
step.
life. Yeah, like
Yeah.
what is it going to be? And that's exactly what
Yeah.
the struggle was.
Yeah, you definitely have to get used to just like slowing down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which-
it's also so hard, like, not to compare yourself to where other people
Yeah.
are at. I also find I have such a love-hate relationship with like LinkedIn because I have notifications sent to my phone. And so I'll have like all these notifications of all these people that I graduated with, and they're like, just got promoted to my finance accounting thing. And I'm like, oh man, like, which I'm like so happy for you. But yeah, it's hard not to compare where you're at with other people.
Yeah.
Especially like at this age.
Yeah. And there's also so many people who didn't even start their careers until 35.
Yeah.
And I am constantly listening to podcasts and reading books about those people because it's so calming and it like is like there's so much pressure. I think also largely to social media that it feels like you have to have everything figured out and you have to have this like if you're more of an entrepreneur, this like $1 billion company started at 22 and like do all of these other things when the reality is that is actually not, again, that's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so comparison's like the worst thing ever.
I mean, for me personally, and this might be a little like too it's just me, like pulling myself out of that like repressive, like almost like depressed 4 years and trying to find myself again. And
What did you do to do that?
I just had to get social again and start saying yes. I became, Allie and I started like a yes girl summer where like anytime we did
What was
anything.
last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So that's when
And it's about to be this summer too.
I never stopped.
Yeah, I mean,
We're still going.
I'm like, we've had like 3 trips in the past couple months.
I
Yeah,
know.
so-
I have no money and I'm like, yeah, I'll go.
always say yes. That's why I literally remember one of our like second or third book clubs that Kenzie hosted on a Tuesday. Like, oh, should we go to Skellig? I'm like,
oh my
oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, I don't have work tomorrow at 8 a.m. We went.
Oh yeah, we fully went out
Yeah.
after book club. Also, speaking of trips, lots of questions on how to get the girls' trip to leave the group chat.
Okay,
so hard.
What does that mean?
Like
Karen,
people
what?
always talk about wanting to go on trips
Yeah.
and nobody ever
Like, you
books
know, when
it.
you
You're
ask
not
your friends,
executing.
like, let's go on a trip, and everyone
Okay.
like says they want to go this place, but it
then you
doesn't
send
like
the Airbnb
so-
link and they're like,
What are the
They like it.
TikToks where it's like when the group chat leaves the trip?
No, it's
means they
that
actually
was a
go.
typo. Then it's when the
Okay, I literally have been seeing these for like the last week. I'm like,
okay. So
what
the
does that mean?
the meaning is that instead of just talking about the trips, you're
You
going on the
actually
trip.
go.
it comes to fruition.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
got it.
Honestly, not to take credit, but like it
I was about to
largely is
say,
me.
when you have a
Oh,
type
yeah.
A friend who
Yeah.
just wants to
Plans
do
it all.
stuff.
Like, thank
If
God
someone
for
plans it,
Kenzie.
I'll go. Like I
Yeah.
just am not a planner. Like
Me
I'll
neither.
just like tell me what to do and
Oh,
I'll be
too
there.
I will
Decisive.
100% plan it, and then in our other group message, nobody responds. I'm like, well, except for Tess. Tess is always like, "Yeah, I'm there," and it's
Right.
just gonna be us
'Cause
two.
she's the
We just
yes
did
girl.
that. We went on a just us two trip to Napa.
But that, honestly, us together, Lauren, has been really helpful because I'm like, do you want to do this? And then you say yes, and I know you actually will follow through. And then I know if you follow through, that means other people will follow through, and then we'll go. But what we've done is that, like, the way that I've made these happen is that I'm already in these cities for work, and then I'm like, all right, well, what you just come, why not, guys? And then that's how it happens.
I think I'm just used to that. My mom used to just take me on her work trips, and she's like, "Okay, well, I'm working 8 to 5," so I'm like
Good
15 wandering around LA. Like I
Yeah.
literally have no idea where I am.
Yeah.
but
Kenzie's like, yeah, I'm going to New York City. We're like,
Cool, me
that would
too.
be such a fun girls trip.
No, every time I actually I'm like, do you guys want to go to Austin for Halloween weekend? I got another
Literally.
offer, and I was like, well, maybe we'll do Halloween in Austin.
we.
Yeah. I'm like, we.
Do you want to
it's
share
me.
90 square feet with me? Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Wait,
watch
can
the
me and
vlog.
Presley tell our New York
Yes,
story?
give it a little New York horror story. Yes.
So, Presley and I, we've all been to New York several times. This was Tessa's first time. And Kenzie's like, hey, the hotel we booked, this like really cute boutique hotel, which it was.
Yes.
Very
Boutique, for
cute
sure.
boutique hotel. We're all checking in. It's like 11 o'clock. We're exhausted. We've been
so
traveling all day.
tired.
And we're checking in, and, you know, Presley had booked the room. So she's like giving the guy her ID and all that. And the woman's like, we're actually overbooked for the room that you picked. So you have 2 choices. And I'm like kind of standing behind Presley, you know, listening. And she's like, so your first option is a bunk bed.
No, that's not how she said
a
it.
bed on top of a bed.
Right. So we're like, oh my God. She's like, precisely. I'm like, okay, great. And then the other option is, I guess it's just like, she said king, but that was not the case.
It
So we're
was
like,
not
okay, we'll
king.
take the king.
Yeah.
So we're going up, and we walk in, and the best way to describe the like room is it felt like you were in a camper in the
Yeah.
king suite of the camper.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, like
So
the
you-
end of the bus.
Right. So you've
that
got,
was
the, you've got the
bedroom.
room, you've got like a little bit of space, the kind of bathroom to the side. And Presley and I are being spoiled brats per usual. And we're like, oh my God, like, how are we going to sleep in here? Like, we can't do this. we're calling every hotel. We're calling Kenzie. We're like, I think we're gonna move hotels. Kenzie's like, are
okay,
you
to
serious?
be fair,
meanwhile-
all of us stayed in a room this size. It wasn't just
While they were throwing a fit, Kenzie and I,
Kenzie and Lauren are like, this is nice.
No, guys, we fully filmed at MTV Cribs. Yes. It's in the vlog that
did a
goes up this
tour.
week. Yeah.
it's like a 20-second.
Me and Taryn were like, this is do or die. We
A whole
have
20
to find
seconds.
another hotel.
We're calling hotels. It's now midnight. We're in the lobby. Everyone's downstairs, like fully happy and fine. We're like, yeah, we're
In our
actually leaving.
pajamas.
And we're checking out. And the woman is like, well, did you use your free drink cards? And we're like, yeah. And she's like, kind of annoyed by that. Presley's like, well, we'll pay for the drink. She's like, no, it's fine. We're walking out. Presley is just on one talking about the situation. And then the sweet guy comes out and was like, ma'am, you forgot like your toiletry bag in the room. We're like, oh,
I was so embarrassed.
I didn't even see that
I'm
part.
a very easygoing person. It takes a lot to get me fired up.
I think I've seen you
and
mad twice in
That was
Yeah,
my first time.
that
seeing
was the lady who worked there, God bless her, but she talked to me like
Yeah, she was not nice to you.
she was not
No.
nice.
But
So I was just mumbling and mumbling. I was so mad, and then here
So
he
we
comes.
moved hotels, essentially.
the issue though was that because Lauren and I went to our hotel and I was like, I know for a fact I wouldn't have booked this small of a room. And listen, I know I go to New York every other month at this point. I know hotel rooms are small. And like this hotel specifically is a little bit smaller, but the location is so good.
Yeah.
When you're in that area for the price, if you don't want to spend like thousands and thousands, like that's standard. But the problem was that we booked rooms that were bigger. Like we booked a 2-bed and didn't get that and whatever. And we were thinking that. So anyways, they basically made us pay for way bigger and then didn't give it. And that was the
Yeah.
issue.
And then the fact Kenzie went up to the front desk and was like, can we have their room?
Sorry, guys. That was actually Lauren.
We were literally just dying. I'm like, I
Yeah,
have
we'll
not
trade
slept in a
places.
bunk bed.
But I did
since
get that look from
college.
her because she was like, "Are you guys the ones that just checked out?" And I was like, "No, those were our friends, but I will take
Oh
them."
no, we don't know them.
I was like, "I heard they have a king. If they have a king, can we take that one?"
No, we just overheard it in the lobby. I swear to God, we don't know them.
See y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, we did not move rooms.
Did I hear bunk beds?
No, the thing
like,
about
"I'll take
it is if someone would have told Tess that, she would have been so excited.
I wouldn't have been as disgusted as y'all were when it was funny that she's like, so it's a bed on top of the bed.
She was trying to
And we're all like,
sell it to
so,
us.
so bunk beds? And y'all were like, ew, no. And I'm like, yeah, that's so gross, guys.
You're like sliding your card.
I was like,
Call me.
I ended up having to sleep at a bunk bed, guys, on my work retreat 3 days later. So I was top bunk.
Karma.
3 days
Karma.
later.
bunk bed out.
Yeah.
God, that sucks. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to talk about dating post grad. Not that I do it, but like,
Not me personally. But
yeah, not me personally. You and like, how are people meeting? Are we meeting people at the bars?
No.
work,
I've tried it all.
Yeah, I'm 0 for 3.
Wait,
on
Lauren.
Hinge.
Do you want to tell your Hinge story?
Please.
What did we call him? Letterboy.
Letterman?
No,
Mailman.
Mailman.
That's what
good.
it was. Yeah. I mean, that was a Hinge boy, and that was my last Hinge boy for probably the rest of my life.
I would hope so.
Good to last a lifetime.
I mean, it started off great, like flowers all the time, so nice, paid for everything.
Do you
Truly
think he was lip bombing you? Now looking back on this,
Yeah, but I'm gonna fall for it every single time.
And by the way, me too.
10 out of 10 times.
Look at my dating history. Absolutely. Love bombing makes sense to me.
If you want my attention, tell me you love me in the first week, and I'm like, I get it.
Or else you're just a waste of time. Yeah.
Yeah. But-
Lauren.
Yeah.
I'm like opposite. I'm like, tell me you hate me. Tell me you
I
want nothing
know.
to do with me, and I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
And then we're good to go.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think a
not
guy
that
has
way.
even said the words
It's
I
one or the
like
other.
you in the first like 4 months.
Okay.
To be fair, the things you say to them, though.
Other issue, go on with
Yeah,
mailman.
Lauren. Let's go back.
Mailman. Yeah. So, but then like what, 6 weeks in, I had already tried to break up with him once.
Which you had already ended things. Breakup is harsh because you were never in a relationship. Important to note. You guys were
No,
seeing
when you're
each
love
other.
bombed, I felt like we were together for like 3 years. So did he.
That's a good way
Clearly.
to describe it.
Clearly.
So I finally decided to end it because I was just like, you know what? I'm not into him. It's fine. It's normal. We had an hour-long conversation. Keep in mind, we had this hour-long conversation while I was at the hospital with my cousin
Yeah.
getting her gallbladder
that
emergency
was
removed.
really insane.
And he's like, I just don't understand. I'm like, dude, I met you like a month ago.
Actually,
Like,
though.
this is really not that crazy. And
At
I
all.
told you from the beginning, I didn't really like you. I don't even know why you're still here.
like multiple times. This man should not have been around. So.
No. And then my first mistake was telling him if he felt like he didn't have anybody to talk to about this, like maybe you should try therapy, which I meant sincerely, and everybody should go to therapy.
And by the way, I was fully a part of this conversation, it feels like. And it
feels
wasn't
like.
in a condescending thing. And he was saying a ton of other stuff that would then, though it sounds when you say it like that way worse on your end, but it really wasn't.
Oh yeah, he was trying to poke all your buttons.
No. He
We
was
literally like
getting
betterhelp.com/Kinsey.
I did not say that.
We
But
thought it though.
He was getting aggressive about me setting boundaries and being like, dude, like,
Yes.
I ended it. Like, I already talked through things with you. I already gave you closure, and you're still reaching out every single day to talk to me about this.
Mhm.
Like, I'm done with this conversation. Please reach out to somebody else. And he's like, but there's nobody else. Like, I can't make up words for you. Like, blah, blah, blah. I need to hear them from you. I'm like, we've had this conversation 10 times over at this point. Like, if you feel like there's nobody you can talk to, like, find a therapist.
Yes.
So it was not condescending, but that was my first mistake. My second mistake was saying, if you need to get your feelings out, write a letter. And guess what he did?
Yeah.
But
And
and I
also a
didn't-
letter to like rip up, not send.
No,
Like,
no.
that was not what she meant.
No.
Yeah.
So the next day, I'm going to bed, and I probably shouldn't say this. I rarely check my cameras.
At this time, no longer, by the way.
Yeah. So I just decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna check it out. And who do I see walking up my driveway to tape something
he
to my
delivered
door?
it himself.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
balls
I
How
didn't
else
know
is he
that.
gonna do
Balls
it?
on
He
that.
walked
I
up.
pigeon
thought he like put a
Well, he had
stamp,
his
you know,
No,
like
no,
girlfriend bring
No.
flowers.
Oh yeah.
He had
So
his who bring flowers?
His roommate's girlfriend dropped
Yeah,
off flowers at my
so
door. Because after
he
the first
has
time I
some
broke
brand
up,
army.
the first time I broke up with him was before Valentine's Day. So he had his roommate's girlfriend drop off flowers at my doorstep. So
With no name, so we didn't know who it was.
no,
for a
so I'm
bit.
texting every ex I've ever had.
Was this you?
Was it
please?
you? Is it
Actually kind of a good move.
I was about to say that's a great pickup line. Valentine's Day. Did
Tess,
send
you
me
would think
flowers?
that.
It did work, but anyway.
It did work. So I got a typed out single space 8-point font 3-page long letter slamming me.
With
Oh, in my broken earring.
And
And
You're missing the
Oh,
best
a
part.
hand signature.
yes. So I need
with
you
the
guys to
heart
picture.
as an eye.
Yes, I need you to picture a 3-page letter, 8-point font, completely gaslighting Lauren, saying the meanest things ever.
But also was so heartbroken and sad.
Yeah, but like it was basically like, hey, I fucking hate you, bitch. But if you want me back, let me know. Like that was basically what I meant.
To sum it up, that's exactly what it was.
You're the most selfish
Oh my
piece of shit. Like it
God.
was actually, I've never seen gaslighting like that in my life. And what's even crazier is that if you text me after 9 p.m., like when's the last time I replied after 9 p.m.? Like I don't respond. I put my phone down. I'm on reading. I'm, on my Kindle. So for whatever reason, I checked my phone that night and I had 3 missed calls from Lauren, all these texts. And I was like, what is going on? So I called her back and then we're going through it. I mean, we obviously. Oh, and then I do want to give a little shout out to one thing he did say because it's really come full circle here. He did say, he gave about 4 things that you're going to do with it. Like there's 4 ways you're going to respond.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last one being it's going to become a meme within your friend group.
Yep.
He was
So I
right
will
about
say
that one.
that. He
I
was
think
right.
the whole letter
Ding,
was
ding,
him
ding.
trying to get a response from me.
Because it was
did
the
you end
meanest.
up responding or no?
No, I blocked him.
Oh, good.
So
As
did
you
you
should.
say got your letter, like you're
No.
crazy, or did you just not say
No,
anything?
I didn't say anything.
He
Oh, I
had
bet he
stuff,
feels real dumb.
But he had it was so creepy because he had stuff that we don't know how he got from her.
Yeah. So he took my broken earring.
yeah.
I sleep with an eye mask at night, and he was like, I'm staring at the eye mask that I got to keep from your house.
That
I'm
is
like, hold
so
on, I didn't give you
freaky.
shit. Also, those are real
What
silk.
did he say? He
Give it back. yeah.
You gave me my broken earring, but can I have my eye mask back?
But he
Please?
didn't keep anything because he didn't have it. He stole it from her.
Literally insane.
I don't understand.
It's so
Yeah.
romantic.
Also, but you know what? The
That's
most
hot.
romantic part,
that's hot.
and I didn't even have to ask for this. He took PTO for my half birthday. Like,
That she didn't even know when that was, by the way. And your half birthday was on a Sunday, so I don't know what. Not to
It's
mention,
like, it's okay. I took Friday off, Monday off, maybe Tuesday, whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want, we're gonna go.
and need.
and then
Mhm.
blamed her for that, and told
Yeah,
her
yeah.
she doesn't deserve someone to treat her well.
Wait, so did y'all hang out on your half birthday?
no.
This
He
is
didn't
My,
already
no,
know
well
was-
before.
my half birthday was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, this is well before.
That
So
far.
he already had put in his PTO in advance.
Yeah.
For a half birthday, she knew nothing about.
Mhm. Which I really wanted to then make half birthday plans, and nobody
Yeah.
wanted to go to Rainforest Cafe with me. But
well, honestly, Tessa's real birthday kind of got in the way. So yeah, it's such a shame.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
selfish, which is what I've been called in that letter several times.
Yeah. So that's like the very short story about Mailman. And it was the meanest, worst, scariest. I mean, we stayed out of Dallas. We didn't go to the same bars for a bit. Like we were like we laughed at
He
it.
showed up at the bar.
He showed up at the places. Like it was actually really creepy and
He
scary.
didn't even know what high fives was before we started talking.
Wait, how old was
He's our age.
And he didn't know what high fives was? That's a red
No.
flag.
And that's what I said. That is literally what I said.
Are
Taryn.
you kidding?
High
Not
fives
a high
is one of
fives,
our
red
favorite
flag.
bars, by the way. Yeah, that is really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, so we kind of held off on the bars for a little bit. I was like laughing and crying when I got it.
Yeah, well, the first time we thought it was funny, and then we literally went to the lake that weekend, and we did.
Yeah, and then I called you and I was like, "Hey,
Stayed at my house. It was
I'm gonna
scary.
Stay at your house.
Yeah.
I don't care where I sleep, honestly."
It was very scary. So, anyways, that is Lauren's experience with Hinge. Anyone have good experience? Actually, no.
No.
No one here.
Hinge
does.
just makes me sad.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, every time I'm like, new guy, new opportunity. Each just shows me a different way.
You
a
treat
guy.
it real.
What?
It's like my hot or not app now.
Well, I mean, you gotta weed through them, and then finally I find one, and I'm like, this one's normal, and like we have a great time. We have great banter, if you will.
That is literally like when Presley said that we want to nibble on something.
Yes, you paid us to nibble on.
Yeah,
I love
actually.
to nibble.
Yeah.
You never said that a day in your life, but
Yeah,
okay.
Sometimes words just like, I don't know.
But that's how you describe it, is like when you can just go back and forth
Yeah.
with someone, and it's like, I'm so talkative and outgoing. I need someone else of my equal. Because
You've
I can't
never
talk to a
dated
wall.
anybody equal.
Oh, no, not a chance. But they got to come close. So it's like when we go back and forth, I'm like, this is fun. Like, I'm having a good time. And then they start doing
Getting
some
weird.
shit. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. Like,
Another one bites
I
the
know.
dust.
I was like,
I will say now, every time I see like a pilot, I'm like, that could be really fun.
Because you get
Where
to
did this come
travel
from?
everywhere.
Yeah, and
Well,
like
yeah.
he
Gone
can
for a
fly
little
me in a
but,
plane.
okay, like Top Gun pilot or like Southwest pilot.
Well, if it's like a Top Gun pilot, I'm not getting in that plane.
So it wouldn't help
like
her.
Southwest.
No,
Southwest-
just like
well-
the ones that fly like little like small planes.
Oh, you
Oh.
want like a
She wants like a safe pilot.
Oh no.
She
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh
want
no,
an Air
baby!
Force
I'm on a
pilot.
fighter jet pilot.
I guess he could get you to Austin like really fast. I think that this came from TikTok. Here's why. I'm sorry, that's why it popped out of my head. But I saw some girl and she's like, "Yeah, I have my own plane and like whatever." And so I just have my favorite restaurant is in Austin, so I'll just go to Austin for lunch and then I'll just come back to Dallas and have dinner with. And I was like, "Holy shit,
That would be.
I
nice.
want that so bad."
Yeah, that would be nice.
I've never thought that I want that. Like, just get on like Jet SweetX or whatever and do that.
Oh yeah,
Never heard of that.
What is
before.
Jet
mean,
It's
Yeah.
guys, it's like basically a small like quote private plane that's like 150 on the way, like one way to Austin.
$150?
Yeah, which is expensive for
so-
a flight to which
No,
is
that's
inexpensive
so
for a flight
cheap.
is what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 25% of my current bank account.
I was.
Wait, but like, why?
But for a flight,
why have
on a
we
trip,
never done
it's
that?
okay.
I don't know. But we should do it for Halloween. I'm telling you.
I was
we can
about to
book
say,
now.
why did I just spend almost a grand? on it?
No, I'll go. I'll do that.
Yeah, I think we should do that. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk
I'm
about
a little
since-
late.
Honestly, it's a blind leading the blind here. We have no dating advice and we have
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
we can
We're
really
the worst.
offer. Let's talk about making friends.
Making friends.
Making friendship. Let's talk about making friends.
As I'm
in your
with everyone
20s.
who I've been friends with since
Okay,
school.
but also this is the thing. I feel like on one side of the coin, I have great advice for this. But my advice, one, it's that like everyone reconnected post grad. It's not like
Yeah.
besides you two, like in recent years, it's not like everyone was like attached at the hip throughout. Everyone got close again post grad. So I do feel like we kind of cheated the system because
Yeah.
obviously we like grew up together, but everyone got close post grad. It's not like we were like a cult that like didn't
We
separate.
also have friends outside of our core
I think
friend
I
group.
can honestly
Yes.
speak pretty well to this.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
So I feel like the key to like friendships is like kind of to Presley's point, right? Like her talking about Arkansas, it's like it's the 13th grade of like I think we were really fortunate to grow up in a town where we pretty much went to school with everyone since kindergarten. Like you know everyone very well. But I think that's like a blessing and a curse in the sense of I think a lot of people get too comfortable.
Yes.
You go to college, you're with this whole group of people that you already know. So it's like, why would I branch out and make new friends? But I think it's important not to lose the people that you grew up with. Like, so for me, obviously stayed really close to Ashlyn, who I went to high school with throughout college, post college, all that. But like, I think it's the idea of like, you don't necessarily, like for me and Kenzie, like we didn't talk for like 3-4 years, like not in a bad way, but it's like, I always knew when she came back, like, oh, we picked up right where we left off.
Yeah.
It's like never ending a phase of life on bad terms, I guess you could say. So then it's easier to like pick back up to or carry through if you're visiting someone you haven't seen in a few years and it's like, oh my God, we went to high school together, but I'm still like cool with her. And now it's like being out of college, like focusing on like maintaining my college friendships, but now I have these friendships with the girls that I met through work, and like now I'm hanging out with high school friends again because we're all in Dallas. Like, I think making time for everyone, but not over focusing on one group, I guess, if that makes sense.
Oh, for
No,
sure.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And also, I think holding on to things with an open hand is something I say all the time, especially friends. Because if you think about it, like if you like physically, if you're like holding something tightly, you're suffocating it and it doesn't work. So it's like there have been times, most of my like closest friends in my life, I've been friends with 4 years at this point. Like not always consistently, not that there were ever falling outs. It's like you switch schools. I moved across the country like senior year. So it's like I left for 5 years. But there were not, like, again, it wasn't like anything bad ever happened. It's just you grow apart at different times and then you come back together at different times in your life. So even in your 20s, like when people are complaining about like their friends getting a boyfriend or their life's changing, I'm like, all of our lives are going to change at some point.
Yeah.
Friendships are going to look different. In order to keep and maintain friendships, you have to hold it with an open hand and like give people room and space to breathe.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to like keep a good friendship. But as far as making friends too, like you actually have to make an effort and put yourself out there. The amount of times people complain, I've said this so many times on the podcast, like to be a friend, you have to, or to have a friend, you have to be a friend, which is like a cliche, but you can't sit there and complain about not having friends and not go out and like make an effort to make friends.
And that's the hardest part is trying to set up a time with somebody. It has to be like so comfortable.
Yeah.
It can't, like, I don't know. It just feels weird to be like, it almost feels like a date.
But I think because
Well,
I
friends,
moved,
honestly.
no, it really, you have to like put, it almost has to be like a part-time job. But I think because when I moved to LA and it was just so normal for all of us on like social media to just stand and be like, hey, like we don't even know each other, but like want to get lunch because that's what you had to do. To me, that's not weird because that's like what it was. So I don't like, I don't know why. It's like a weird city, you know?
Yeah.
But like it's not weird to me.
No, I think that just like going to an event like for the first time is like a lot easier than like sitting down at a table and being like, so where'd you go to school? Like that's not comfortable.
But also, I think it's great when like all of us have our own friends, but like we invite groups
You
to mesh.
combine, yeah.
Because like I know in high school and middle school, it's always like that was this group of 10 people. It was this group of 10 people. And like when they meshed, it was like, oh, like that's not okay or like very weird. But like now it's kind of like you want all of your friends to be friends with each other. You don't want to have like
It's
this
not a
group
competition.
Like
Yeah.
you want your friends to be friends with your other friends and like get to know each other and be cool. And then like that's definitely how you meet people
It's
the fastest.
weird if
Yeah.
they don't like each other.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
honestly,
yeah.
you
Red
just,
flag.
when you're an adult, you just don't have as much time.
Oh
so
yeah.
like it
So,
makes
oh yeah, it's
things
like two birds, one
easier.
stone. Yeah.
But I think I will say the way I've made the most friends in my 20s, I like 9 times out of 10, if it's not someone I knew before I turned 20, it is through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
for sure.
So I think you
I
just have to be
agree.
open
It's
to
like
it.
you already trust your
One
friends. So it's
person.
like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
if you're friends with them, then I
Yeah.
can trust you.
Yeah, they're like vetting.
Because
process.
yeah, you'll meet a
always.
girl and she's like, yeah, I don't have any girlfriends. And you're like,
Red
oh.
flag.
Yeah, red flag.
Fun, girly.
Yeah.
All of my friends are girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about
Actually,
to
don't
say,
have
I
one
have
friend that's a
love
boy.
girls.
I know,
Yeah.
same.
That's really weird.
Actually, boys suck.
Okay, someone asked a question too. I wrote this one down. Friendship breakups in your 20s, how to know when to kick a friend versus cut them off. But I feel like
What
that's
is
the
that
same
mean?
thing.
Is that the same thing?
So how to know when to end a friendship?
I think when you start feeling anxious and it starts not making you feel good, like when you feel bad and anxious about hanging out with them, don't hang out with them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I understand it's hard because you've been friends maybe for so long or like you have some connection to them, but it's like you want to surround yourself with people that make you feel great, that make you feel happy, that like boost you up, not make you feel shitty about yourself. And it's like, once you start feeling that way about somebody, like, you can cut them out of your life. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it sucks and there's going to be a grieving period and like you're going to miss them when you see it, but it's like at the end of the day, you just got to look out for yourself and your well-being and your mental health.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I also think that like after college, like now that we're all working, like I appreciate my Fridays and my Saturday nights so
Mhm.
much.
Yeah.
And like I cherish like the people who I get to spend it with. So it's like I don't want to waste like my one night out being with someone who's like bringing me down or bringing like drama to the group. It's like
Yeah.
I am at the point in my life where like I'm okay with being like, hey, like this isn't really working out. Like my friends love me, they support me, and like that's the people I want to surround myself with. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with taking a break from a friendship, or if it's just not the right fit for the both of you guys, like there's nothing wrong with that.
I do
Yeah.
think it is also important to hold yourselves up to like higher standards. So
Yeah,
like
sure,
feel
yeah.
comfortable coming to your friend and being like, hey, is something going on right now because you're acting a little off and
Yeah.
you're making me anxious. And like as soon as your opinion doesn't matter to them anymore,
oh,
and as
yeah.
long as you're coming to them in a positive, like, I want to help
Constructive
you.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they want to work on it too.
Yeah.
Like if it's like you're making me feel this way and they are just very dismissive, it's like,
Right.
okay, then what am I doing
Yeah.
this for?
Then there's no point.
I
Yeah.
think it's too like my biggest thing with like whether it's like a boy or girl or whoever, like actions always speak louder than words. So like I'm a big believer in like second chances, even third chances. But like if you're not actively doing things to show me that you're changing, it's like why would you waste your time?
Mhm.
You know, continue to put effort into someone that's not willing to like fix anything.
Also, who you surround yourself with is literally the most important thing that you'll do in your life because it affects
100%.
every aspect of it. So it's okay to want to only surround yourself with people that like are adding to your life. Obviously, it's like a mutual thing.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I think out of all of us, I'm the absolute worst at this. Like I am so bad because I don't mind change in my life, but I don't like change when it comes to friendships in certain relationships. Like it's weird because I'm like I definitely give people space and I'm like keep an open eye and like things like that. But when it comes to like actually, I think it's when like I know I need to leave a friendship, that's the issue. It's not when someone else is like having a life change. So it's very difficult to me because I'll want to like hold on to something, keep it how it was, or I really just feel like a sense of responsibility. And I'm also the person who like wants to take everyone with me wherever I am. Like if I get to do something cool, you to do something cool. If we're doing this, we're doing it together. Like I'm very like mob mentality at this point.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to let go of friendships. And I think that's been a really difficult thing in my 20s because even with, I mean, honestly, like my life in LA and college friends and just even moving back to Dallas, like it's not like there's been a ton, but I think I just take friendship breakups so personally. Like they dig deep. So anyways, it's a lot easier once you make healthy decisions and not based off of emotion because I think I've stayed in friendships because I felt like emotionally tied and like I had the responsibility of being there for them or stayed in friendships because this is actually a big one because it's like, well, they were always there for me like during the hard times. But then I look back on it and I'm like, that's actually that can be a really unhealthy sign because if they're always there for you during the bad times and really not there during the good times, it's either like trauma bonding or like they're just drawn to the negative and it's not a healthy friendship. So that's been a really hard lesson for me to learn that I feel like I'm still learning.
Do we have conversations when we have friend breakups or are we just ghosting friends?
I think
Conversations.
I don't know if I've
you're
ever
a bigger
had a
person
true
than I am.
friend
I
breakup.
have just like kind of taken a step back slowly, but
I think I let it
surely.
phase out,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
ride the wave out,
That's-
kind of.
that's
It's
what I
like
meant by
I'll
ghosting.
try,
Yeah.
like I'll give it an effort. I'll give it like a good try for a few times, and
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, that was the final straw where it's like, this is wasting so much of my energy, putting it into this
Yeah.
friendship that's going nowhere. Like it's just
I mean, Kenzie knows this. My like famous line with her is like, people that live in chaos, like if you don't want to get out of it, like I just can't.
Do it.
You can't live in chaos constantly. Like if you thrive off chaos, that's a
That's
red flag.
Yeah, major red
My
flag.
mom's famous quote is, if you're going to complain about something and you're not going to do anything about
Yeah.
it, you lost your bitching rights.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I love that.
That's
Love
good.
that.
Okay, as far as like conversations with friends, I was thinking about this. I feel like it depends on the friendship.
Yeah. I mean, I've had
That's
both. I've had major,
Yeah.
like, we had huge disagreements, and it was like, okay, yeah, this isn't going to work out. But I've also had people where it's like, we're just going different ways.
Yeah,
It's
just like
totally
naturally
fine,
fades
like,
out.
cheering from you from afar.
Yeah.
I think the issue though with it naturally fading out is like I had a friendship naturally fade out in college. I mean, she was talking shit behind my back, but like I had a friendship naturally
Great
fade
friends.
out in college.
Naturally.
But she talked about everyone, so it really wasn't personal. It's like really not about me. But the issue now is that like it's been 2 years and I still hear things. And granted, they're in the same circle. They haven't left this bubble. Like it makes sense because it's still a big deal to them, I guess. But I still hear things, and I'm like, I actually now wish I would have had a conversation, because part of me is like, maybe that would have stopped it. But actually, I think if someone's gonna do that, they're gonna do that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an opinion. I was just genuinely curious.
Honestly, guys, follow Tessa's TikTok. That Showbiz Babe. It's tagged in most of my TikToks. It'll be good. Okay, actually, we did get a question. Who's the Kardashian? Like, who? What are we? What am I saying?
Ooh,
No,
like,
what
which-
Kardashian are we?
Oh, okay.
Presley's Kendall, because she's like low key.
Oh, 1000%.
yeah.
Wow.
I want to say Kylie.
Tess has
I
opinions.
like Kyle.
Yeah.
Kylie.
Okay, I like
Kylie.
that.
Yeah. 'Cause you're
Kim,
funny.
sorry.
And you're
Yeah.
Asian.
That's
Why
not.
are you
s-
apologizing?
You're
Yeah.
Chloe as hell. I love it.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I think I'm
'Cause
like Kim
you're
and
funny
Chris.
as hell, but
Yeah.
like you don't
Kenzie
take
is
shit.
definitely Kim and
Yeah.
Chris.
No,
Yeah, there's
I'm
Kenzie's
Christianer.
Chris.
Because I like want all of you
Yeah.
to
Kim
be
and
TikTok
Chris.
stars.
Yeah.
Kim and
Yeah,
Chris
true.
together.
But I'm Kim because it's like still.
Kenzie's
Yes.
the momager for all of
I-
us. She's like,
Yes.
what
Yeah.
can we do
Yeah.
to
I
get
try to-
you there?
She sends me
I'm like-
TikTok ideas like all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, why don't you do this for your TikTok? Why don't
Yeah.
you do this? Just
I'll send a
waiting for one to
Snapchat.
take.
She's like, put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm like, did
Yeah.
you say this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is
are,
who's
what are you?
Tess?
Scott Disick.
What?
Oh my god, no, yes, yes.
No,
He's
literally.
not even a Kardashian.
in podcast that
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You can see all of us of my YouTube vlogs from New York. Follow us on TikTok, on Instagram. Thank you guys for coming.
so much fun.
We love you guys.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
love
yeah.
you guys. We're the best friends ever.
You weren't
That
practicing
was
with us?
really good, guys. I was really just taking it back there. Thank you.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know by giving it a nice thumbs up and subscribe for more.